What if feeling stuck isn't just a rough patch, but a signal you're trapped in a life stage you don't even recognize? We've all been there, waking up to a life that feels like it's on autopilot. You're stuck in a job that drains you, a relationship that's lost its spark, or a routine that leaves you wondering, is this it? You're not alone, and it's not your fault. The real culprit? You might be caught in one of life's four developmental stages: copycat, explorer, martyr, or mortal, without knowing how to move forward. Today, I'm diving deep into these stages, unpacking why you feel stuck, and more importantly, how to break free. By the end, you'll have a roadmap to rediscover your purpose and live a life that feels like yours. Buckle up, this is going to be a game changer. The copycat stage, living someone else's script. Imagine this. You're 38, dragging yourself to a job you hate, married to someone you no longer connect with, living in a house that feels more like a cage than a home. You followed the rules, went to college, got the stable job, settled down, yet you feel like a stranger in your own life. Welcome to the copycat stage, where we all start. As kids, we're wired to mimic, learning to walk, talk, and fit in by copying parents, teachers, or society. The goal? To grow into independent adults who can stand on their own 2 feet. But here's the catch. Some of us never leave this stage. You might still be living for your parents' approval, your boss's expectations, or society's definition of success. Maybe you became a doctor because your family wanted it, not because it let you up. Or you're staying in a relationship to avoid disappointing someone else. The result? You're stuck in a life that doesn't feel like yours. By your 40s, this can spiral into a full-blown identity crisis. Think waking up at 45 wondering, who am I and how did I get here? Why do we get stuck? Fear. Fear of rejection, of failing, of not being enough. Some families or cultures even discourage independence, punishing you for stepping out of line. You end up trapped, playing a role in someone else's story. The cost? A gnawing emptiness, like you're watching your life through a window instead of living it. Breaking free starts with one question. What do I want? It's simple but brutal. Try this. Grab a notebook and write down one thing you'd do if no one was watching. No judgment, no expectations. Maybe it's quitting that soul-sucking job or taking a painting class. Then take one tiny step toward it. Say no to something that doesn't feel right. Make a decision without asking for permission. It's terrifying, but each choice you make for you chips away at the cage. You don't need everyone's approval to live your life. Start small, but start today. The explorer stage, chasing the next high. Now picture this. You're in your 20s or 30s, free from the copycat stage, and life is a giant adventure. You're backpacking through Europe, switching careers, diving into new relationships, maybe even experimenting with things you'd never tell your parents about. This is the explorer stage, where you're figuring out who you are, separate from the world around you. The goal? To uncover your core values. What makes your heart beat faster? What gives your life meaning? Sounds exhilarating, right? It is, until it isn't. The trap here is getting hooked on the thrill of new. You might jump from city to city, job to job, or partner to partner, chasing the next big thing. Ever heard of the Peter Pan syndrome? That's when you refuse to grow up, dodging responsibility to keep exploring forever. At first it feels like freedom, but over time the constant chase leaves you hollow. You're 35, still searching for the next adventure, but nothing fills the void. You're stuck, not because you lack options, but because you're avoiding the deeper question. What matters to me? Why does this happen? Accepting limits is hard. You don't want to admit you're not great at everything or that life is finite. Facing those truths feels like slamming the brakes on your freedom. So you keep running, hoping the next experience will fix you. Spoiler, it won't. To break free, you need to get honest. Grab that notebook again and write down 3 things that truly matter to you. Maybe it's building a family, creating art, or fighting for a cause. Now look at your life. Are you chasing distractions that don't align with those values? It's time to let them go. Set one concrete goal that reflects what matters most. Maybe it's saving for a home or starting a passion project. Commit to it, even if it feels scary. This isn't about giving up adventure, it's about trading aimless wandering for a path with purpose. You're not here to explore forever. You're here to build something real. The martyr stage, burning out for the wrong reasons. You found your values and you're all in. Welcome to the martyr stage, where you pour everything into what matters most. Your family, your career, or a mission that keeps you up at night, like launching a startup or fighting for social change. You're laser-focused, cutting out toxic friends, pointless hobbies, and anything that doesn't serve your purpose. The goal? To live a life that screams, "This is who I am, and this is what I stand for." But here's where it gets messy. Some of us get stuck by overcommitting. Maybe you're working 80-hour weeks to build a business, but it's killing your health. Or you're so focused on being the perfect parent that you've lost yourself. Others cling to the wrong priorities, like chasing status or a job that doesn't align with their values, and end up exhausted with nothing to show for it. The worst part is, you might feel like you can't stop, because if you do, everything will fall apart. You're the hero, carrying the weight of the world, but it's crushing you. Why does this happen? It's often about fear. Fear of failure, of letting others down, or of admitting you can't do it all. Society glorifies the hustle, so you keep pushing even when it's breaking you. The result? Burnout, resentment, or a life that feels like a treadmill. You're running, but going nowhere. To break free, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this worth my life? Reevaluate your priorities. Are you sacrificing for something that truly matters, or are you chasing someone else's definition of success? Try this. List your top 3 priorities, then cut one thing that doesn't align. Maybe a side hustle or a draining commitment. Learn to delegate. Trust your team, your partner, or your kids to take on more. Carve out time for yourself, even if it's just 10 minutes a day to breathe. This stage isn't about being the hero forever. It's about building something meaningful and knowing when to pass the torch. You're not failing by letting go, you're growing. The mortal stage, clinging to the past or giving up too soon. You've lived a full life, loved, built, struggled, and triumphed. Now, in the mortal stage, you're facing the reality of your own limits. Your energy isn't what it used to be, and your ambitions are shifting. The goal? To find meaning beyond yourself, through family, community, or immortality projects like mentoring others or leaving a legacy. You're no longer the hero, you're the guide, passing wisdom to the next generation. But this stage has its own pitfalls. Some get stuck clinging to relevance, terrified of being forgotten. Maybe you're still micromanaging your team at 70, refusing to retire because they need me. Others go the other way, checking out too soon. Think retiring to a life of endless golf or Netflix, only to feel purposeless. Both paths lead to feeling stuck, one in stress, the other in emptiness. You're either fighting a losing battle against time or surrendering to it entirely. Why does this happen? Fear, again. Fear of relevance, of change, of facing mortality. It's hard to accept that your influence will fade, that the world will move on. But avoiding that truth or giving up on purpose robs you of the chance to leave something lasting. To break free, embrace the shift. Accept that life is finite, and that's what makes it precious. Find your immortality project, something that outlives you, like mentoring a young colleague, writing your story, or volunteering for a cause. Try this. Reach out to one person this week and share a lesson you've learned. It could be a grandchild, a coworker, or a stranger. Focus on impact, not control. If you're tempted to check out, challenge yourself to engage. Join a community group or start a small project. This stage isn't about fading away, it's about planting seeds that grow long after you're gone. That's where the real magic happens. Unstuck. Your life, your rules. Feeling stuck isn't a life sentence, it's a wake-up call. Whether you're a copycat trapped in someone else's story, an explorer chasing empty thrills, a martyr burning out, or a mortal afraid to let go, the path forward is clear. Face the truth, redefine your values, and act. Each stage is a chance to grow, but only if you're brave enough to move through it. So where are you right now? Grab a pen and ask yourself, what stage am I in? What values are driving me? What's holding me back? If you're a copycat, take one step toward your own desires. If you're an explorer, commit to a purpose that lights you up. If you're a martyr, let go of one thing that's draining you. If you're a mortal, share your wisdom with someone who needs it. You don't need a grand gesture, just one small, courageous move. Life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about growing through it. You're not stuck forever. You're in a moment that's begging you to evolve. Find a friend, a mentor, or a community to support you. Write in a journal to uncover your truth. Set a goal that feels like you. The life you want is waiting on the other side of stuck. Take the first step, stay bold, and keep building a story that's yours alone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a life that feels alive.